Let's get this day started. It's Wednesday, the 18th of January 2023, and this is how the market's getting started today. But take a very quick step back into Tuesday's trading day with the shares of Nigerian Exchange Limited, the Exchange Group Limited, index up 0.67% because of that big jump we saw in the shares of Airtel Africa. The banking sector went up 0.2%. The consumer goods space was better by 0.2% as well. Insurance fell about 0.1%. Oil and gas also up by 0.2%. 4 of the 5 major indices we tracked on the Nigerian market finished in the green territory on Tuesday. That's a comeback from a bit of a downside, 0.3% we saw on Monday. So the market began to look up with the liquidity still very heavy on the market. We finished net long position of about 300 billion yesterday. So money market rates in Nigeria remain very at single digit around 9.8%. The Naira dollar was flattish, 461.50 against the dollar at the investors and exporters window. You go on the street, you get a different exchange rate for the Naira dollar. Then you got a BRVM down by 0.31%. That's a composite at 196.42. The Egyptian stock market was up roughly 1%, 15,981. And the Nairobi stock market fell sharply 1.08% on Tuesday on the back of decline that we saw on the from Safaricom PLC, which has a very big chunk or the lion's share of the total market cap of East Africa's largest exchange. You got the South African market up by 0.27%, 79,385 on the all share index. That's the summary of your Tuesday trading day across Africa. Let's look into East African top headlines this Wednesday morning to get the midweek up and running. The East Africa community's trade relations is about $10 billion. So the folks between Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda are thinking about a single currency. They're also talking about setting up their own central bank, a single central bank for the region as well. All that is in the making. A further integration on the economic, business, and financial markets, payment system, everything together for the East African community. In the meantime, Safaricom's stock route offers telco savings on share compensation. That's part of the downside that you saw on the Nairobi All Share Index on Tuesday. Now, the DRC has awarded 2 licenses for the Lake Kivu gas exploration to US and Canada oil firms, and that's also part of raising the curtain on oil exploration in around Lake Kivu in DR Congo. DRC is also moving strongly as far as hydrocarbon investments and business concerned, also building a pipeline as well. Museveni has banned foreign travel. That's the Ugandan president, Yoweri Museveni has banned foreign travels for Uganda members of parliament as well as civil servants. Contain whatever money you can get. It's not necessary. Why go out? Stay in your country and so pretend the economy that you are being assigned to do. That's what President Museveni has just rolled out. No money to waste on overseas travels. Great. Let's check in with West Africa with the headlines this morning. Global trade faces a stagnant decade, 10-year lagging world economy. That's the latest from the World Trade Organization. It's the latest in not so good news from international agencies such as the World Bank and the IMF and the International Labour Organization talking employment growth this year, just 1%, down from 2.5% last year, and says there was no improvement on the horizon for next year. Now, the World Trade Organization says global trade is going to remain stagnant for at least for the next 10 years. And the latest report, which was released yesterday by Allianz Global Corporate Specialty, the AGCR, says Nigeria faces at least 3 major threats to businesses. That's the latest report, global report as it were, just playing out Nigeria for West Africa. Economic risk in Nigeria is said to be at 46%. Political and violence risk is about 30%. You got a few other risks that have been assigned. Energy risk for Nigeria, according to the latest report, is about 14%. And you've got other issues around social risk and a few other parameters. You can just read that up, just about 45-page document released by Allianz, and you can read up a country by country ranking. You got an overall executive summary giving you a big picture of what you call the global risk barometer. Then you have the 70% stake of Vodafone Ghana has now been sold to Telecent Group. That concludes that acquisition, 70% stake. So you have Vodafone Ghana now in the pockets of Telecel Group, and that's been approved by the authorities in Accra. And finally, the EFDB will release its African economic data. We keep that on tap as well. Let's step into South Africa. And the big story there has to do with energy crisis. The country's finance minister, Ino Gorogwana, was speaking in Davos, Switzerland, at the ongoing World Economic Forum that the country is looking to end its load shedding by Eskom between 12 to 18 months. That sounds very optimistic considering the downside to where things are right now. Let's see if this will work. President Ramaphosa himself stayed back at home in Pretoria, did not attend the World Economic Forum in Davos with other leaders because he's got to have emergency meetings with Eskom investors and others and make sure that the home front remain in place as the impact of the load shedding of electricity is expected to push South Africa's economy into recession, most likely this year, according to some economists. Zimbabwe's gold coins, which was floated in July last year by the Reserve Bank or the central bank, is now selling at about 2,000 an ounce. No, a coin. That's it, an ounce. Coin. That's the story. The gold itself is selling around $1,918 an ounce at the spot market late Tuesday. So keep that in mind. It's been an upside as well, as it were, for this particular financial management, currency management, part of the Zimbabwe Reserve Bank, which was floated in the second half of last year. And inflation to reach about 400%, according to an economist in Zimbabwe, this Mugano. He says Zimbabwe's inflation could reach 400%, an exchange rate to about 1,500 Zimbabwean dollar to the American dollar by June this year. All right, let's check in with North Africa. Quite a bit of headline stories coming through, with African Institute for Development moving its permanent headquarters to Dakhla, while the construction of Morocco's first solar-powered heaters factory has started. And Moody's has assigned investment-grade Baa3 to that industrial behemoth, the OCP Group of Morocco. Congratulations. That's the first coverage initiated by Fitch Ratings, one of the world's top 3 rating agencies, and Egyptians to access electricity services via a new app that is now the Ministry of is finalizing a unified platform for everyone who wants to get electricity, part of streamlining and making sure that everyone pays for what they use. Those are the apps that make it easy. But again, you can track consumption and you can track anyone trying to dodge electricity tariff payments. Then 5 consortium applied to set up an oil facility in Egypt with about 32 million or $321 million. That's quite a chunk of money on the table. There are a whole lot of African stories coming out of North Africa across the markets and across the various jurisdictions. So keep an eye on our Frontier Opening Bell. Watch the show again on YouTube at Frontier Africa Report. You can subscribe. It is free. You go on our website, frontierafricareports.com, and follow us as well on all social media platforms. I am Bosin Namafai. I'll see you next time. Have a great day, everyone.